What's up, you guys? Welcome back to WIDEBODY Nation. Today's video is going to be an update on the S209 right behind me, as far as where we're at, everything we've done to it, just in case you guys missed anything, and then the way ahead for it, because as you guys know, Cobb and other brands have started restricting certain parts and certain tuning abilities for these cars and for other cars in our, in our scene. So if you're new to the channel, this will be basically a list and a kind of a show and tell of everything that's done to this very exclusive one of 209. This one is number 68. Almost got the best number there is, but I have not located number 69. So this is number 68 of 209 ever made. So before I open the hood, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Turn that red subscribe button gray. Hit the like button while you're down there and leave a comment. Comments, questions, concerns on the 209, or if you guys want me to make more videos on car buying stuff, I owe you guys that because the market is changing fast. So I have had this car for, has it been 2 years now? I guess so. I think I bought it in 2020, about this time 2020. So I've had the 209 for 2 years now. Obviously it has some stuff that has been done to it even from the outside. You know, it comes with BBS wheels. However, the BBS wheels, they were actually pretty heavy. The BBS wheels and tires, which were 19 by 9, and the normal Subaru STI wheel is a 19 by 8.5. So you can put another 20 millimeter of tire on there because it comes with 265 width tires rather than 245. So the BBSs that were on here, they were nice. They were gray originally. I ended up powder coating them the Subaru Gold, because if you got World Rally Blue and you're not rocking gold wheels, I don't really know what you're doing. But I started looking into performance, and these 18s from Titan, these are 18 by 9.5s, still with the big tire on. They're 40 profile, 265 wide. These shedded 9 pounds per wheel, so 9 pounds per corner, just by switching out to the Titan 7 wheels. These are the Cobb edition. So just by doing that, I lost 9 pounds per corner, which for unsprung weight, that is a ton with just one modification. So I really like it. I also love how it gives the car kind of more of like a autocross or a tracky look. I think they look pretty mean. I did have to roll the inner of the fenders back here a little bit just to get the wheels to not be rubbing, the tires to not be rubbing. But other than that, not very much visible on the exterior. Now, I have owned two Subarus before, so I knew that their paint is super water-based, super thin, immediately gets damaged as soon as you get it from the factory. So the entire front plus of the car, including the wide body fenders right here and everything, including the mirrors, is PPF wrapped, paint protection film, Expel Ultimate Plus, done by Velocity Motor Cars down in Nashville. I also had them do the carbon fiber up here because I did not want the carbon fiber to fade as quickly, because I do park it out in the sun sometimes. I do drive it, these summer days have been pretty brutal on. So this, this spoiler and the carbon roof are both Expel Ultimate Plus wrapped, which has given me a little bit of peace of mind to let it get rained on, or even sometimes some bird poop gets on there. I don't feel like I have to wash it off immediately, or I can even park it outside a little bit. So other than that, I mean, we got the mud flaps, which were a good addition because the wide body kit doesn't come all the way down. So we actually needed the mud flaps to protect the side of the car's paint, due to obviously, Subaru. All cars fling, my dually has the same problem, but no matter if it's a driven wheel or not, that wheel, when it's that wide, will fling rocks up, and so the mud flaps are protecting the paint. Now, let's go ahead, show you guys what's going on under the hood. So this is what I would consider a full bolt-on E85 setup Subaru, and it has been quite the quirky modification process. I've tried to keep the things that were very unique and very good about the S209. I've kept all the suspension. I haven't taken off any suspension. We got the strut tower brace. We've got all the suspension is the same, and the only thing we've changed is the wheels. And then we've obviously had to, go front mount intercooler, had to change up the intake, but we left the silicone inlet right here because this is about as big of an inlet as you can get with the stock intake manifold right here. Obviously, we did go ahead and leave the stock HKS STI turbo, which is it's spicier than the stock VF turbo. It's nothing like an aftermarket precision. It's not like a 64, 66 or nothing like that. It's a little spicier. It makes up to 26 pounds of boost right now, how we have it tuned, which for a stock location stock turbo, stock for this car, is definitely pushing it. So I guess I'll go top to bottom. It's, like I said, it's full bolt-on E85. So if you start, we're running 1300cc injectors. We obviously have the Cobb access port, managing it right now, so it's in there right there. When I first got the car, we actually, Cobb actually made a stage 1 no modification tune for this car, and it did actually pep the car up quite well. I was definitely surprised when I got the car and then I got the access port, because when I turned the access port on, it actually has a picture of an S209, not just an STI, and the stage 1 tune was done by Cobb specifically for the S209 due to the slightly larger injectors, the different turbo, the different intake, and the little other things that make it a different enough to where it would need a different tune. And honestly, if I had to sum it up in kind of like one sentence, the entire tuning and modification process for this car has just been, like, I would say slightly different or slightly off. Like, everything we have done to this car, obviously, the shop that I go with, which is, you know, here in Tennessee, you know, he's tuned hundreds, maybe I would say probably thousands of Subarus, and obviously he's tuned hundreds of the new this chassis. I guess it's not technically the new chassis, but the 2015 to 2022 chassis. And, you know, the base map for my mods for this, the car was cranky. You know, it was like, it was always 10 to 30% wrong or off. Like, the car would be cranky. So for instance, when we did the top mount intercooler, when we got rid of the top mount intercooler and did the front mount, which I have anodized black. It is an ETS 3.5-inch unit, but I have it anodized black with no stencil, so you basically can't even see it. The blow-off valve, which is just your normal standard tile blow-off valve, that came with a 10-pound spring in it, but the car would not idle properly with the 10-pounder in it because it was slightly too much vacuum. I guess the motor / the turbo, the whole system was pulling too much vacuum. And so we actually had to run an 11-pound spring in here, which unfortunately I feel like the car needs about a 10.5-pound spring, which I'm not tracking that they make a 10.5-pound spring. So that that blow-off valve is a little bit tougher. It's a little bit too much pressure, so you do get a little bit of compressor surge when you're driving it. It gives that kind of like the Supra chooch, but then also the blow-off valve noise as well. We are running kind of like a hybrid speed density setup. I believe Tommy is using the MAF sensor right here, but then also has it tuned as speed density as we can without the, I think it's like an iWire setup or something like that. But kind of back to the broad strokes rather than the nitty gritty. We are running the ETS Max Flow V2 headers down there. You guys can kind of see them. We have noticed really smooth and really good power with them. I think the collector, the way the runners go into the collector down there, as you guys can see, is I would say very good. We are running a Grim Speed up pipe with a little bit of external wastegate screaming action there, and then obviously into the HKS turbo with a full turbo back NVIDIA exhaust that runs all the way back. Single exit, obviously, because it's a 4-cylinder. Let's not kid around here. All these people that got, you know, dual exits, quad exits, it's a 4-cylinder. It needs one pipe, and that's just more weight that you guys are putting behind your cars. But hey, that is just my opinion. So ETS intake goes in, kept the turbo, obviously, popped the heat shield on it for good measure. IAG air oil separator V3 competition, because I'm not trying to put any milky oil back into the motor at all, if you guys know what I mean. We are not running any type of cooling mod. I've seen mixed reviews with those, you know, the Get a Dom tunes or whatever else. Some people, you know, swear by them and some people do not. So we ended up just kind of not going with those. This is also running a carbon fiber drive shaft, which has, I would say it's pepped the car up a little bit. It hasn't been anything, it's not knock your socks off difference, but it is, it's a pretty solid little mod that we got going. You know, the you know, ounces save pounds, you know, pounds equal pain or pounds equal speed if we're talking about cars. So it's been a pretty good setup so far. We have not had it on the dyno. It outruns Scat Packs pretty easily, both Chargers and Challengers. It's about even with full bolt-on Mustangs and full bolt-on Camaros because they're lighter and they're newer technology, better transmissions and all that. It ran side by side with an M3, like a 2015 tuned M3 on 93, all in Mexico, of course. So that, you know, that car, a tuned M3 is probably making upwards, you know, in the high 400s, because those cars wake right up when you tune them. That car did have a couple extra people in it, so this car is obviously lighter. This car probably weighs 3,300, 3,400 with all the weight we've taken out of it. But, you know, she's running pretty good as far as that goes. So as far as the way ahead goes, you know, the whole Cobb thing is kind of an issue, because I feel like we were at about a 90, 95%. But even like right now, it's been a 90, 100 degrees in Tennessee, and the car is not too happy anymore now that the temperature has doubled since we last tuned it. You know, the shop that I use, he obviously, like all the other shops that use Cobb as a main platform, got swamped back when the whole green speed update came out. So with that being said, you know, they had to tune as many customer cars as possible, and we were already planning on going standalone with this. It was just a question of when. So I basically said, hey, I'm good with what I got. I'm not driving this car too much. You know, I've been driving the truck, been driving the Corvette a lot, so let's just leave it how it is, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it on a standalone relatively soon. Now, that brings us up to what standalone are we going to go with. So as much as I want to go Motec, the amount of people who tune Motec, I would say, is probably less than half of the amount of people I know who tune Haltech. And that's probably just basic economics, right? You know, Motec is definitely more expensive than most options. They double. It really depends on if you buy the display or not. I've been looking into Haltech a lot. The IC7 display is definitely nice, and that paired with, I think, the Haltech Elite 2500 is a good setup. I don't want to put the Haltech Elite, like, I don't want to put the IC7 in front of the cluster. I kind of like having the cluster here. I got a poster the other day too, but I want to put the IC7 dash somewhere else, you know, make a pod for it and just have it as a display, have it as a tuning tool. But obviously that IC7 display is going to need a home, especially if we're not putting it right there. So I guess in the future, you guys can expect some videos both on Instagram. Like if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, Real Wide Body Nation, that is where I post a lot of quick and kind of unfiltered car content, funny as well. All those sounds that you can do up there. But you know, that's probably where you're going to see a lot of the updates, and then also up on here on YouTube as well. But from what I'm tracking, this is the most heavily modified and most tastefully modified S209 out there. I mean, it's more or less stock looking on the outside, just some different wheels and you know, some mud flaps and some paint protection film, but underneath she's making, you know, 420, 430 wheel horsepower. We got Davey and Jolly out here playing, but you know, she's probably making 420, 430 to the wheel, maybe a little more. She did go through a stock clutch as well, so once I was on full bolt-on E85 spec, the stock clutch was spinning under power. Even if I would lightly put it into gear and then build boost, you would start seeing revs go ooh, 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 all over the place, because the clutch was just getting overwhelmed, the factory clutch, that is. So this does have the ACT twin disc in it, the newer one that's, I think, the modular design, from what research I did and from what my tuner told me. He said that was kind of the new hotness out on the market, as far as you know, twin disc, relatively cost-effective applications, so we went with that. But as far as that goes, I think that's gonna about wrap it up. Haltech is our #1 choice. Motec is an option, but I guess we just kind of gotta wait to see. I've got some deals coming up as far as making some money on some car flips and some other stuff like that, so depending on how well we do on those car flips might depend on if we're going Motec or Haltech, or you know, whatever else we decide to go with. But I think I'm just gonna have to start getting more informed on this whole tuning and the whole modification industry, because it seems like it's really narrowing, really bottlenecking, and there's going to be less and less shops out there that can help us out. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys want to see more videos on the 209, comment below with what you guys want to see. On Instagram, I have a couple videos of this doing pulls against some other cars in Mexico. I have some older videos of this thing driving a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking to take it to the drag strip more once we kind of have it dialed in again. The fastest I got it to run at the drag strip, the one and only time I took it, was a very, very low 8-second pass in the 8th mile. That was the first time I had taken a stick car to the drag strip, so I was learning how to launch. We started in the high 8s and I just whittled it down. So I believe the fastest pass was 8:07 at 88 or 89 miles an hour. But I also had an 8:20 at like 92 miles an hour, because on the pass that I ran at 8:07, I definitely did not make a clean shift into 4th, so my top end speed was definitely hurt by that. So that pass I was booking, should have ran like probably a 7.9 on that one if I had actually shifted properly. But hey, that's why you go to the drag strip, and that's why you go practice, right? So if you guys want to see more videos of this at the drag strip, or you know, we got the C8. I don't have a trailer right now because I sold it right before we had some stuff come up for work. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the 209, and hopefully we will be getting this thing absolutely dialed in before the end of 2022, especially depending on parts availability and some other things that need to come through. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay safe out there, and I will see you for the next video.